Welcome back to the Habit Engineer podcast. I'm Max, the Habit Engineer. This is episode 7. I'm here with my friend Jocelyn. Jocelyn, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Jocelyn. I am a mom of 2 and owner of a mobile notary business.
Awesome. So we'll jump right into it. What habit would you like to be more consistent with?
Sleep, 100%.
Okay. What is stopping you from being consistent with that right now?
I am a night owl.
Okay.
When the sun goes down, my energy goes up. That's
Nice.
just how it is. I will all of a sudden have all this energy and all this motivation to do things at night. And I don't ask me why. It's just always been that way. And so I find it difficult to just go to sleep. I stay up way too late, all of a sudden getting this boost of energy into I could do this or I could do that because now I'm a business owner, and it's all of this motivation to do things, but late at night, which is odd. I don't know.
Yeah. So why is that sleep schedule something you want to change?
Because I feel like if I were to be able to go to bed at 9, 10 at the latest, and wake up at 5 or 6 a.m., then I would have this time to tend to my garden and to get up, get ready, and be ready for the day. I still have to do all of these things during the day, but if I stay up late and do things in the middle of the night, I don't have the energy to do any of that in the morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's that winner's mindset, my best friend called it a winner's schedule, because the last 2 days I've woken up at 4 a.m. for different reasons, but 4 a.m. and I've been exhausted because I haven't gone to bed at a decent time.
Right.
To do that, but she's like, "Oh, you're on the winner's scheduler now," or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if being exhausted would be called the winner's schedule.
Right, but I guess what she meant is people that get up, at 5 a.m. and start their day early and whatever. That's it's supposed to be a good thing. You're supposed to get more done, I guess. So
yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but I'd like to try to find out.
Yeah, we can do that. There's that one saying, it's early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise, or something like that.
Yeah, you know what
That's
I'm
what
talking
you're trying to get
about.
into?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I don't know if I quoted that exactly, but I think I was.
It
I think
sounded
pretty
good.
on. Yeah.
It sounded good.
Yeah. Okay. So, with the Triple S method, the way that you build a habit that will give you the best chance of staying consistent with it is you want to start by making sure that it's specific, right? Mm-hmm. And the way that you make your habit specific is you assign it a what, a when, and a where.
Okay.
The goal with that is to make it so specific that you can visualize it like you're watching a movie in your head. Right. What happens when you when you pair a action with a location and a time, you create what's called neural resonance, which basically just gives an idea a lot more weight in your head. And so you want that action, which is the what, with the when and the where, in order to really your brain just remembers it a lot better. And so if you were to put your sleep, going to bed habit in that what, when, and where format, what would it look like for you?
Well, I know for me, if I don't have at least 7 hours of sleep,
okay,
I don't function well.
Yeah.
So I would need to, I guess, calculate if I want to wake up at 5, that's the goal. Okay. 5 a.m. wake up. Getting that 7 hours of sleep, I guess going to bed by, what is that? 11 or 10?
Yeah, you would have to be sleeping by 10 if you need your 7 hours.
Right. So that would be the actionable goal, I guess, or the time frame.
Okay.
That I would be looking at. Mm-hmm. Sorry. Did I answer the question?
No, you're good. So kind of, if you're so if your goal is to sleep for 7 hours so you can wake up at 5, there would need to be a habit as a subset kind of within that goal.
Okay.
That would allow you to achieve that. So maybe something like, okay, if I need to be at least trying to go to bed by 10, then like what time do I need to start my morning routine or my nighttime routine, or like what kind of habit do I need to make sure that I'm in bed by 10, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha. So what would I do? I guess, brush my teeth and all of that, my bathroom stuff. By 9, be in bed by 9:30. It doesn't take me very long to fall asleep, typically, when I shut the lights off.
Lucky.
Yeah. I used to have that problem, but not so much anymore. So, I mean, I just need to be like in the dark, in my bed by 9:30, and I would be asleep by 10.
Okay.
So, I don't know what habit. You tell me.
So what's like, is it just that extra boost of energy that's keeping you from doing that right now? Because it sounds like it's something you want to do, but like you haven't been, right? So like where is that friction coming into play?
It's just like inconsistency. I'm really good about being inconsistent as far as what I do.
Consistently inconsistent?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
I'm consistently inconsistent as far as like my nighttime routine. So like my work, my hours of operation are until 8 p.m. So sometimes I'll take a job at 7:45, and that might not end until I might not get home from that until 9 o'clock. And then it's like, okay, did I eat? Is everything done? Like, as far as that needs to be done around the house? Is everything locked up? And then, usually it is that like, oh, well, what could I do really quick if I do have energy? Like, what could I do in my office really quick or whatever? You know what I mean? And then before I know it, it's 11:30, and then maybe I might throw on a Netflix show. I'm just not consistent about what I do at night,
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Okay. So with a simple, like, do we just need to build a habit of a bedtime then?
I think so.
And like that would be at least the right place to start.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 'Cause like, so with the triple S method, like it's not just like there's so many like self-improvement or self-help or whatever that are like the diets where it's like, oh, lose 10 pounds in 15 days or get a 6-pack in 3 weeks, or like, I don't know, something crazy like that. The triple S method is basically the exact opposite of that.
Okay, how so?
It requires you to treat your life like a science experiment.
Okay.
What I've noticed a lot is that people tend to one of the reasons why many people tend to not be able to follow through with their habits is because they don't actually know the best habits to set for themselves in the first place, because they don't really know how they tick. They don't really know how they operate, right? Most people don't go throughout life and view their actions from like a third person perspective and think, why am I doing this way? What is causing me to act in this manner, right? That's just not something that usually happens. And so what I find is that a lot of people who say, like, we'll sit down and we'll go through the triple S method, and then a week or two later they'll be like, dude, I wasn't able to be consistent, like I totally flopped, it didn't work, right? And I'm like, okay, well, that's not like why. Like, just because it didn't work the first time doesn't mean you failed. It just means that you need to run more experiments and get further iterations in order to understand yourself so you can set the right habit for you. Okay. Right? Because frankly, like, we just don't really know ourselves. Like, we don't even know how most of the brain works. Right. And so to have this expectation of like, oh yes, whatever habit I say, I'm going to perfectly do all the time, is like, I'm sorry, like, it's just not that simple.
Yeah.
It's just not that easy.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, it is that simple. It's just not that easy.
Yeah.
And so, like, having the mindset of, like, okay, we're going to set the bedtime, like, that's awesome. We'll do that. But making sure that you understand that it's, like, this is designed to be a process, right? And it's designed to tap into... There's a quote from James Clear where he just says, habits are the compound interest of self-improvement, right? And so the Triple S method is designed specifically to teach you, to get you the best chance of success to actually tap into that compound effect. By teaching you how to build a habit in a way that you'll actually have the greatest chance of success and staying consistent with, so you can experience the exponential gains on the back end of that compounding, right? Because, I mean, you know how you're a numbers girl, right? So you know how compound interest works. It's like the first couple weeks, months, years doesn't really matter, but when you get 10, 20, 30, 40, that's when you really see the gains. That's when you really see the returns, right? And so habits allow you to experience those returns when it comes to self-improvement, right? And so that's what the Triple S method is for, is like, we're thinking long-term, we're thinking lifelong, like building a character of integrity, building a character of discipline that takes a lifetime. But makes your life better than you could have even imagined it by just doing these small and simple things day after day after day.
Right.
Such as having a bedtime.
Yeah.
Right? Who would have thought? Okay, so put the bedtime in the what, when, and where for me.
What? What would the what be? It's a bedtime. When? 9:30? Where? My bed.
Sorry, like getting ready for bed process. Like,
okay, gotcha.
Because you have all these things that you need to do before bed. So it's like you're getting ready for bed and going to bed at blank time.
So it would be probably shutting down, first and foremost, shutting down device usage. That, like put my phone on the charger. Stop that for a second.
Yep.
And then, getting in my pajamas, brushing my teeth, washing my face, getting comfortable, and then just hopping in. I mean, that's what that would look like for me. Usually does anyway.
Yeah. Okay. And so then when would that happen for your bedtime again?
So ideally, I'd like to be in the bed by 9:30, so it doesn't take me long to actually start getting ready. Maybe 20 minutes tops. So I'd say between 9 and 9:10 to get that started would probably be ideal.
Okay. Okay. So then the habit would be getting ready for bed between 9:10 to 9:30, and then being, obviously, you're like at the end of getting ready for bed, you're in bed going to sleep.
Right.
Okay. Okay, cool. So that's specific. We like that. Good. Then the second S is simple. And so keep that habit in mind. And the way that we make sure our habit is simple enough is we just ask this filter question. So, do you feel 100% confident in your ability to stick to your habit every single day for the rest of your life? No questions asked.
No.
Okay. So, that's totally normal. And so what that did is, because before in your head you were thinking, oh, okay, like I could probably do this most days. This seems pretty good. This seems pretty manageable, right? But what that question does is it flips that script on its head. And so now instead of thinking, oh yeah, this will be pretty good, you're thinking about all of the times where it won't work.
Yeah.
Right? Because the key to actually getting to the compounding is maintaining momentum.
Yeah.
right? And so you need to anticipate all of these times where you might drop the habit and then adjust before you even get to those points. So that way there's a higher chance of you maintaining the momentum to the point where you can really actually experience the exponential gains.
Yeah. See, this is the good part.
Yes, this is the good part. So what happens when if you're not 100% confident initially, which again, totally normal, we go back to the specific stage and we say, okay, how do we need to tweak this, re-engineer this habit in order to achieve that level of confidence in your abilities, right? And keep in mind here, like, your goal is just to get enough sleep and wake up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. or
5 a.m.
just wake up early, right? Yeah. So that you can seize the day, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so if that's the goal, then we say, okay, what do we need to adjust in order to give us that level of confidence with that? So what do you think would need to change?
For me, as a single mom, it's like, I think that's the thing that I struggle with, the consistency thing that I was mentioning you, is because things are always changing. There's always these different circumstances where that may or may not be possible, I guess. Like, for example, if the day was just crazy and I had appointment after appointment and now it's 8 o'clock and me and my kids haven't had dinner yet. Well, that's going to make it difficult to be bed, to start getting ready for bed in an hour. It's like those things, because there's nobody else to put all the things on or ask for help from. You know what I mean? Like, oh, can you start dinner right now because I'm running late on this appointment or whatever. It's
you got a solo show.
Yeah, a solo show. And that's usually what is the thing that's making things so inconsistent. You know what I mean? And every day is different as far as like my schedule is concerned, because being a mobile notary, it's like usually somebody doesn't need something notarized until like right now. They're not like planning
they don't
in the
plan
future
ahead for it.
So usually when the week starts, I have no idea what my week is going to look like. I don't have very many appointments on the schedule until like day of or next day.
They'll just call you up, be like, hey, Jocelyn, get over here.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's hard to plan, but I feel like if I don't know, that's my problem. That's the main problem.
Yeah. And so this is where this conversation becomes super valuable, right? Is being able to like actually sit down and figure this stuff out, because frankly, most of us just don't take the time. We reach this point where we're like, oh, this would be a good idea. Oh, but I won't be able to do this for very long, so I guess I just,
right.
Now something else is distracting me, and you move on with life and forget about it, right?
Yeah.
So I would, my first thought as to how you could re-engineer this a little bit is maybe say, okay, if my 9:30 bedtime isn't going to work, what if I just said I moved it back to 10 or 10:30 and instead woke up at 6, right? Because you're still waking up early enough to seize the day and get a bunch of stuff done, but you're also able to account for all of the inconsistencies with work or with kids or whatever, but still have that bedtime at a time that's probably a lot more realistic than 9 to 9:30, right?
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts with that?
I think that's a great idea, because I feel like, there's this, ultimate like, hey, I'd love to wake up at 5 a.m. and just like have that time. Yeah. But is it realistic? Is really what you're asking? And I'm like,
basically.
and I think that you have that's totally valid. I think that a lot of times it wouldn't be realistic, and at 6 o'clock would be more so realistic and more achievable with all the unknowns or inconsistencies that happen. So
good old chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if we switch it then Put that in the what, when, and where.
So instead of a 9:30, I guess, get ready for bed or be in bed. Start everything an hour later, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to be in bed by 9:30 before.
Mm-hmm.
Now try to be in bed by, what is that?
10:30.
10:30?
Yeah.
Yeah. So get ready starting at 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that's doable.
Okay.
Totally doable.
And then I'm
Or
remembering
put
this
my
now.
phone down at 10. I think
Okay. Yeah.
that's the start of it.
That would be so. That I would argue that would be a habit in and of itself.
Yeah.
Right, because that's
Probably.
big. That's a big thing to do.
Yeah.
To check that. And the one other thing that I'm remembering is you said that you needed 7 hours of sleep to like feel well rested. This would
Right.
put you at 6.5 instead of 7.
If I'm in bed by what, 10?
Or wait. No, am I tripping?
I'm trying to think. I'm like, help me calculate.
Wait, no. That's 7.5. Yeah, we're good.
Anything
Okay.
between 7 and 8 hours, I'm good. I'm golden.
Yeah, okay. That would be good. That would even give you a half hour like buffer as if it took you some extra time to get to sleep or something.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
That's what we
need. Let's do that. Okay, yeah, my math was just
I know, I was trying to do it
for a second. I was like, oh. Okay, so 10, put phone down, start getting ready for bed at 10, go to bed at 10:30. I would say put like an alarm on your phone right now.
Okay.
Like
right now?
Yeah, like
okay.
right now. And then that will kind of be your key to start the bedtime routine. And that'll work. That'll be like the good jumpstart reminder thing in addition to just having it at all and making it so specific.
Get ready for bed.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then, okay, so do you feel like you're like, okay, yeah, 100% confident, like I can totally do this every single day?
I think as long as I want it to be a thing, you know what I mean? And that's, I think, been my problem before. It's like, oh yeah, that's an idea. Going to bed, waking up early, I'm like,
Yeah.
But talking about it, making it actionable is, I think, what I need to actually make it happen, like want it.
Yeah. I think that's funny is sometimes that's really all it takes. You're like, oh wait, this is actually possible. This isn't just pie in the sky.
Right.
I do, let's get this crap done.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So then the last S in the triple S method is sealed. And so what you want to do is you want to seal your habit with a 1-second celebration. And so what that does is it triggers like just a dopamine hit, right? And your brain associates the action that you just undertook with, or it makes your brain feel good, right? Because you're doing that. And there's a B.F. Skinner quote where he's a famous psychologist. He just says, what gets rewarded gets repeated, right? And so your brain says, oh, I did this thing. It made me feel good. Therefore, I want to do more of this thing, right? And so the rewards or the celebrations at the end of the habits can totally individual, right? I have some friends who will just be like, nice, like when they complete their habit, like for whatever reason for them, like that's their word that produces that emotion, right? For some people, it's checking off a box on a calendar. For some people, it's a 10-second dance party. That's what it is for my 6-year-old niece.
I love it.
Yeah, it's adorable. And then for some people, like who might be more intrinsically motivated, it can be some type of positive affirmation, right? Where it's like, I know at least for my mom, her reward is just when she says, or when she completes her habit, she'll just say, I did what I said I was going to do. I have integrity, right? And so like just becoming someone who simply does what they say they were going to do is like a big thing For her, it's a big thing for me, like being able to just be that kind of person, right? So for you, what do you think is something that you could do that would produce that desired like reward effect?
So there's something that I kind of already do,
Okay.
that kind of concept with other things in my life, which is journaling.
Oh, awesome.
So I journal every day, and I kind of have a system where every day I write about what I achieved that day, usually at night, right? I write about what I achieved that day, what happened, how I'm feeling, whatever. But I also write 3 things that I want to do the next day.
Oh, okay. That's neat.
And I keep it to 3 because anytime I've ever tried to do more than 3, I only ever accomplish at least 3, you know?
Yeah.
And so maybe that's just one of the things that I start writing down as, you know what I mean? And then like usually I'll go back and I'll check mark next to the things that I actually accomplished on those 3 things. But usually that's my like, okay, I did it moment. You know what I mean?
And so would that be just kind of like, is that part of your bedtime routine?
Usually, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Usually. Or it's like any time in the evening where I have a moment, you know, like if it's like right before I start dinner, or just toward the end of the day at some point.
Okay.
But it's not usually consistently right before bed.
Okay. Do you think it would be plausible to make it something that you do consistently before bed, or is that something you wouldn't want to change? You would want it to be just kind of flexible?
I would say probably not, because sometimes it takes me 15 minutes to do it. Sometimes it takes me an hour.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's
just depending on the vibe.
Yeah, depending on how much happened that day or what I'm feeling or what's going on. It might take me a lot longer to write that out than other days. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Does this thing, the celebration, the mini celebration or seal, should it be like right after you've accomplished it, or does that matter?
Yeah. Because it's like eating ice cream before dinner, right?
Yeah.
It's like the celebration before. That's a bad example. I like drinking a protein shake before a workout. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, it does something, but it would have done a lot more if you had done it in the opportune moment.
Gotcha.
Right? Because your brain's going to know that you haven't actually done the habit yet that you're celebrating for. And so it's just going to be like, oh,
Right.
okay, cool. Like, thanks, I guess.
Yeah.
But in order, like, we're trying to build like a neural feedback loop of associating an action that you've just undertaken with feeling good. Right? And so you want to pair it as close to right out. It's like essentially part of the habit, right? Like you end the habit in a positive way. It's kind of like they did a study with kids taking tests. I forget whether it was in high school or college or something. And they gave these kids this test, and on some kids' tests, they made the last question really hard. And on some kids' tests, they made the last question really easy, right? And for the kids who had the easy question at the end of the test, they said the test was easy as a whole. And for the kids who had the hard question at the end of the test, they said the test was hard as a whole, right?
Okay.
Same test, all besides the last question, but it kind of produces that same effect, right? So we want to replicate that by putting the good feeling at the end of the habit.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So the best friend I mentioned earlier, she wakes up pretty consistently around that time.
Okay.
Would it be helpful if I had her maybe message me in the morning or something and say, are you up? Did you do it? You know, and then us have that, yes, I did it, yay moment. You know what I mean? Or does it just need to be me?
Honestly, it depends on what you think would work.
I
Like,
think
do
that
you
would
think
work.
that would be rewarding for you?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
It'd feel good to, one, tell somebody else about it,
True.
and two, have that accountability person. And then three, just have that moment where I can celebrate with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if it's like a text or something. Like, I feel like that would do a lot for my brain. In
Yeah.
that celebration kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, it's like basically an external validation factor. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I did this. I'm gonna text my friend.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think that if you feel like that would be rewarding enough to like be like, oh, I want to keep doing this, then do it.
I think that will be it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think she'd be happy to help too.
Good. Good. Yeah. And you could even have her set it up on her phone or something where it was like automated or
Right.
whatever. But
That's what she would do too,
yeah,
probably.
okay. Perfect. But yeah, so that's it. That's the Triple S method.
I think I could do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm excited to try, at least.
Awesome. Sweet. Thanks, Jocelyn.
You're welcome. Thank you.